Good evening. The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection at the Kingsport Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
group that is so talented that we can call upon in the city. I mean, that's huge for us. It's a game changer for us. So, what do you got to say?
Oh, I thought you brought me up here because I look pretty tonight.
So it's Miami tie.
I know my tie is good tonight. Well, all I'll add is, I mean, I'll second everything you said, and I think for Christmas in general, we could probably recognize a different department every meeting because so many departments helped out with this. But nobody would be there if it wasn't for what you all did. And so, did you say, like, so last year we won the award for best new event. And this year we won for best social media campaign for the Christmas in Kingsport. So I think we were very excited when we started this event 2 years ago, but I don't even think we realized how popular it would become. And I want to think that at least part of that is because of how amazing the snow machines are, but also because of the work that you all put in.
When I didn't run them dry.
Yeah, so, but no, thank you guys for everything that you all did because you really did get people out. And we had some creative ideas and some really good events. And it just, you know, we keep winning awards for this event because I think it's such a good event. So we need to keep investing in this event. That's all I got to say.
And do what? Yeah, so actually there was 2 awards that I was able to accept on behalf of the communications teams at the Southeastern Festivals and Events Association annual conference last month, actually, in South Carolina. If you follow our beloved goats at Cement Hill, you kind of know what's going on with them. You would see the post where after we took all the trees down in the parks and stripped all the decorations, that they actually transported the trees to the goats for an after Christmas treat, if you will. And that actually won a Best Green Initiative Award at the conference as well. So give that to you guys. So Maxine, Grayson, Sarah, Adrian, Matthew, huge thank you for everything you do to make us look good on a daily basis, but especially working hard on these type of events. We appreciate you guys.
Had snow blowing, it would have been more effective.
Thank you, Ms. Christie. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have no appointments on the agenda. We'll move to the approval of minutes, the work session on March 6, 2023, the business meeting on March 7th, 2023. We'd ask that you approve these minutes as submitted, please.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve both the work session minutes and the business meeting minutes? Moved by Alderman Cooper. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? They both pass 7-0. Mr. City Manager, we don't have any public hearings, and so we're in the public comment section. At this point in time, a citizen may come forward to speak on agenda items only. There is a portion in our proceedings later on where you can speak to items of general civic interest, and I'll announce that when we reach it. But right now, citizens may come forward to the podium, and when you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda. Are there any citizens who wish to come forward? If not, I declare this part of our proceedings to be closed. Mr. City Manager.
First item is consideration of an ordinance to amend the fiscal 2023 General Purpose School Fund and the General Project Fund budgets. This comes to us from the Kingsport Board of Education. This is setting up some capital items that the school will be undertaking here over the next several months. You see those listed there. There's also some transfers that have been made within their budget. We ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading.
Thank you. To our citizens' ordinances, first reading, we do a voice vote. For the second reading, we take a roll call vote. Plus, if it seems like we're going through this fairly quickly, it's because that we've already been over it together in a work session as a group. We also routinely have individual sessions one-on-one with the city manager to go over items, so we're familiar with the item by the time we come to vote. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Purpose School Fund and General Project Fund budgets for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '23. As we stated at the last meeting, we made a budget adjustment as primarily dealing with the general fund. This meeting, we're looking at a budget adjustment dealing with our utilities. This is making various adjustments to the water project fund, sewer project fund, and stormwater project fund. The predominant amount is moving money around as a result of the American Rescue Plans and the funds that have been made available to the city of Kingsport, and this will allocate those dollars. So we ask that you approve this on first reading, please.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. My understanding is that the ARPA money, the American Rescue Plan money, it came from the federal government for utilities specifically. This measure will obligate the last of those dollars for utilities.
Yes, for utilities.
For
yes.
utilities. I'm just
Yes.
talking utilities. Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? Other than the fact that this stuff's going up in cost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have three items that are up for second and final reading. The first is consideration of an ordinance to amend zoning for the Ship Springs annexation. We'd ask that you approve the ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for the Ship Springs annexation on second and final reading.
Thank you. And we had a considerable discussion of this 2 weeks ago. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to further amend the zoning code text and map to rezone property located along Ship Springs Road from the County R1 District to the City R3 District in the 11th Civil District of Sullivan County, to fix a penalty for the violation of this ordinance and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Phillips. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? I went to Oak Hill, and when you get up there at the Oak Hill funeral place, you can see the field, the Ship Springs from there, from that angle. If there's no further discussion, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Scholl.
Aye, the item passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance to amend zoning of tax map 46-0, Group D, parcel 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25.05, and 26 along Oak Street, East Center Street, and Myrtle Street from the R2 two-family residential, B3 highway-oriented business, and R1B residential districts to the R4 medium-density apartment district. I'm afraid I'd get it wrong. Probably got it wrong then.
And 2 weeks ago, Mr. Weems and Mr. Terry Cunningham were both here and did a good job explaining this.
Yep.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to further amend the zoning code text and map to rezone property located along Oak Street, East Center Street, and Myrtle Street from the R2, B3, and R1B districts to the R4 district in the 11th Civil District for Sullivan County, and to fix a penalty for the violation of this ordinance and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion? If no discussion, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Scholl.
Aye, the item passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '23. As we discussed at our last meeting, and as we also discussed yesterday, During our strategic planning session, this is an amendment to this year's budget by $1.5 million. This is a result of seeing strong revenues occurring throughout the first 6 months of the fiscal year. We continue to watch those revenues very closely as we go through the remainder of the fiscal year, but thus far we've been pleased, and this simply will allow us to redistribute those funds to some various projects.
And I'm really not trying to rain on your parade, but this is good news. But I always keep in mind that you all have shown us several examples over the last several months of rising costs for things that the city has to purchase.
Absolutely. Just as we experience in our personal lives, we experience the same thing here with rising costs due to inflation, utilities, fuel, everyday goods. It impacts us as well.
It's still good news.
Very much so.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Aye. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery. Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, the item passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a resolution to purchase the Monarch Migration Sculpture. This is a sculpture that's presently located here at City Hall. It's part of the current sculpture walk that is put on in part by our Cultural Arts Department. As has been the case in the past, art will come through the city as part of the sculpture walk. We'll find a liking, or we'll find ourselves liking the piece, or we find a great spot for the piece. This one has kind of caught our attention from day one, and really appreciate the opportunity to be able to make this the permanent home for this sculpture. And we'd ask that you approve the resolution authorizing this purchase, please.
Thank you. And I noted yesterday the Vice Mayor pointed out that it's a great place for taking pictures, isn't it?
It's amazing how many of our citizens have some sort of picture taken with this statue, and I think it's such a wonderful backdrop here at City Hall.
Great. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving the purchase of the artwork Monarch Migration from artist Jim Gallucci Sculptor Limited, and authorizing the mayor to execute a purchase agreement and all of the documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Any further discussion about this item? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a consideration of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for teacher laptops with docking stations and pens for Kingsport City Schools. Again, this comes to us from the Board of Education, utilizing the Wilson County Schools Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. And you see the expenses listed within the action form. And we'd ask that you approve this resolution authorizing this purchase, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for teacher laptops with docking stations and pens for Kingsport City Schools.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a resolution renewing the award for the purchase of water and wastewater chemicals. As you see, kind of during this time of the year, as we move ever closer to the budget, we are going out to bid for items that we use on an annual basis. This is very much the same, needing various chemicals to be able to use at both the water plant and the wastewater treatment plant. These are bought on an as-needed basis. One change that you'll see here is that we have the ability to renew this for another 12 months if we feel good with where the prices are. However, we also realize in this, and it kind of goes back to what the mayor was saying a few minutes ago, there is the chance that we could see these prices change throughout the year as pricing continues to be very fluid on a lot of different things, no pun intended. But we'll continue to monitor that and make the necessary procurement decisions as they come available.
That's pretty neat how you work that in.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution renewing the award of bid for the purchase of coagulant to G2O Technologies Incorporated for chlorine to Brentag Mid-South, for fluoride to Pinco, for zinc orthophosphate to Karis Corporation, and for polymer to Coastal Water Technology LLC, and authorizing the city manager to execute purchase orders for the same.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a resolution to renew the lease with the Model City Makerspace. This is for the Inventor Center located at 118 Shelby Street. This was an initiative of the city of Kingsport, probably going back 6 or 7 years ago, basically creating a space for recreational making, craft, art, and more. A lot of entrepreneurs will go there to utilize some of the technology and equipment for various projects. It's located within the what we now refer to as the Innovation Village or the Academic Village, and has become a really a major player with what we see occurring at RCAM, and even more recently with what we're seeing with Create Appalachia, which is located in the old City Hall. This is a 12-month extension for that lease, and we just ask that you all approve the resolution, please.
Yes, and if we have citizens who are relatively new to Kingsport, I would urge them, if they have any kind of inclination toward inventing things, building things, making things, that they check this place out. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving a lease renewal agreement with Model City Makerspace doing business as the Inventor Center for 118 Shelby Street, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan, seconded by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? Again, it's located on Shelby Street, just down from the old City Hall. If no discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a consideration of a resolution requesting the Sullivan County Economic Development Partnership pursue a working partnership with the Appalachian Highlands Economic Development Partnership Incorporated. This is a request that is coming from the city of Kingsport to Networks, and it's really very simple. It's just simply asking that the two entities, Networks, along with the Northeast Tennessee Economic Development Hub, continue those conversations that they started several months ago, looking towards developing a working partnership that we believe would be beneficial not only to the city of Kingsport, but also to the Northeast Tennessee region. Several years ago in a strategic planning session that we had, we talked a lot about economic development. We talked a lot about how can we diversify our approach to economic development within the city of Kingsport. And to do that, we recognized that we needed many partners to make that a successful venture. We have done so through a variety which you see here, whether that is related to tourism, entrepreneurism, or even looking beyond that into the medical area. Most recently, a great example of that is the work that we did with many partners, some inside the city of Kingsport, some outside the city of Kingsport for the dental clinic. And so we're simply asking and hoping that these conversations can renew and that there can be a working partnership brought back to this board in late June so that we can hear it and hopefully be able to take that and see where that can go from beyond those conversations. And so this resolution makes that request, and be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
And just to be clear, when you say inside and outside the city, we're talking about both public government entities working with private partners toward a common goal, which is economic development of our area.
Correct.
Okay, and otherwise, it was very well stated. Let me get it published by the attorney, and then we can have discussion. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution requesting Sullivan County Economic Development Partnership pursue a working partnership with the Appalachian Highlands Economic Development Partnership Incorporated.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? I mean, I can lead it off. Actually, this negotiation and, exploring how we could do this has been in progress. We just need to keep it going and see how we can work together. And this is a simple request to networks that we can continue what we were doing, which was finding a way to work together. Any further discussion, comments? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a resolution to approve the mayor's signature for the purchase of ClearGov budgeting software. This was discussed yesterday at our work session. This is part of our ongoing initiatives to look at other ways to become more efficient in how we do our jobs on a daily basis, recognizing technology as a major player in that. This is a request coming from the budget office where it'll be used by the budget office as they prepare to publish the budget, prepare the budget throughout the course of the year. So we'd ask that you approve this resolution authorizing this purchase, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving the purchase of budgeting software from ClearGov Incorporated and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a resolution to support restoring the historic revenue sharing relationship between the state of Tennessee and its local governments and to return the local share of the single article cap to local governments. We talked about this yesterday. We also talked about this last year. Alderman Duncan is our representative, in fact, is the District 1 chair for the Tennessee Municipal League, who has been a major champion of this particular item for some time. This has to do with sales tax that is generated right here in the city of Kingsport, and our desire to see that portion that the state historically has shared to be returned back to us. If that was to be fully returned back, that's basically the equivalent of a little over $1 million that is allowed to go back into various projects or operations here with the city of Kingsport. This is not a tax increase. These are taxes that are being collected already by the state of Tennessee. It's just an opportunity to see that historic sharing be returned. Many cities across the state are passing similar resolutions and asking that the state get behind this. And we would appreciate your all's continued support on this by approving the resolution. I'm sure Alderman Duncan will.
Thank you. First, I do appreciate Alderman Duncan's role as a representative on the Tennessee Municipal League Board representing our area. And Darrell, would you like to comment further on this?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that, we discussed yesterday too, but, this is not just money, for us. This really is regional money and all over the state. So as the city manager said, for Kingsport, it's about 1.2 million. Johnson City would be about 1.4, and it goes down by population, really through the sales tax that was received for that. So it is a item that was shared up until 2002, and then when the tax went up 1% from 6 to 7%, none of that came back to our city. So TML has fought very hard, like the city manager said, is try to get that back to the cities. So that vote will be coming up to try to be on a budget item. We hope it is received well, but we'll just have to wait and see.
And you'd say there's strong agreement across municipalities throughout the state on this?
Absolutely. So the legislators, it's really up to them now, both the Senate and our representatives, and of course the Finance Committee, if they can put the Finance Committee, put it on the agenda and get a positive vote, it'd be good.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution to support restoring the historic revenue sharing relationship between the state of Tennessee and its local governments and to return the local share of the single article cap to local governments.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan, very appropriately so. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any further discussion? It's a good motion or a good resolution. Any other comment? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is in consideration of a resolution to permit Visit Kingsport to make improvements and alterations to Hunter Wright Stadium. We have had conversations really going over the last year between the City of Kingsport, Visit Kingsport, and Boyd Sports, who manages the Kingsport Axemen as part of the Appalachian Wood Bat League, about making improvements that would be really geared towards the fan experience at the game. We've also had conversations with them about improvements that could be made to the field, and we'll come back at a later date once we have more information to discuss that. But what they're asking to do is Boyd Sports wants to go in along the left field line and make some adjustments to the fencing and also do some grading and add some concrete in order to create a seating area over there for fans that are coming to the game to be able to use. If you've been to the stadium, you've been up there where the pavilion is, you know it's a very popular area. I think they have a desire to replicate the popularity that they have there also down here on the left field line. And we're excited that they're making these improvements. Not only do we get to experience that while the Axemen are here, but also throughout the year at the various college tournaments that we have, this would also be open for that as well. So we'd ask that you approve this resolution authorizing them to make these improvements valued at a little over $117,000.
We get several high school games there, too.
True, we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to future discussions where we figure out a way that we're not going to get use out of this 365 days a year, but I see this potential for greater use across the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving certain improvements and alterations at Hunter Wright Stadium and authorizing the mayor to execute any documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
The next item is consideration of resolution authorizing a contribution to PetWorks Animal Services Incorporated for assurance of payment with the PetWorks line of credit if necessary. As you all know, and we have discussed many times over the last several years, PetWorks, which is the animal control for Kingsport, has been aggressively working to pay off the debt for the new facility they have there on East Stone Drive, which is a very nice facility. Presently, they have a balance of about $1.2 million. And as they have been going through the audit process and also in conversations with the entity that holds the note on this, there's been some conversations about needing to have assurance that if for some reason that this debt was not able to be retired, that there would be an entity that could step in to provide that. This is similar to what you have done in the past for projects through the Kingsport Economic Development Board, where the city has been, if you will, the backstop. And fortunately, we've never been called on to have to step in and pay for any of those debts. And that would be our desire here as well. John Morris, who you heard from yesterday at our work session, not only does John serve as our budget officer, but John also spends a tremendous amount of time working with PetWorks.
As a volunteer.
As a volunteer.
Yeah.
He's brought this to my attention several weeks ago and believed this was something that we were going to have to do, despite a lot of efforts on his part to try to avoid this, but he believes it's the best thing moving forward. After reviewing it, I concurred with him, and we've asked that you all approve the resolution to put this in place on an as-needed basis, or if necessary, I should say.
I had the wrong place. I went by it, and I was just bragging. I said, "Oh, D, here it is." She said, "It's not." And she had to correct me on it.
It's way out on East Stone Drive.
Yeah, but this was up there and right there next to the tire store.
Okay. Well, again, we have new citizens. This is a first-class, state-of-the-art animal services facility. There was a very generous donation that helped get it built by Jim and Laura Rogers. Mr. Rogers was a former CEO of Eastman, and they gave $1 million. And I mean, that's public record, but we really appreciate that. Mr. Mitch Walters followed up with $250,000. And then there's been numerous other donations by citizens. We really appreciate that. And they continue to need donations to help run this great facility. In fact, there's going to be a fundraising ball next month, which will be fun because it's it's just a great event. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing a contribution to Petworks Animal Services Incorporated if needed relative to its financial obligations, authorizing such agreements as may be needed to effectuate the purpose of this resolution, expressing the intent of the board to establish one or more project accounts and an ordinance appropriating funds to effectuate the purpose of this resolution if needed, and to fix the effective date of this resolution.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Alderman. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, Mayor, we now move into the consent agenda. We have 6 items on the agenda, and I typically ask you all if you'd like to have one pulled for further discussion. I'd like to pull one for further discussion, and that would be item 5, which is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Goodwill Industries. If it's okay with the board, I'll go through the rest of the consent agenda items, and then we can pull that one up at the end.
Let me ask something. Are you asking us to vote on it separately or just consider
Vote on it separately.
Vote on it separately, okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So item 1 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign all documents necessary to apply for and receive the law enforcement agency highway safety grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Item 2 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a signature authority form allowing the chief of police or his designee to complete grant reports as required by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office Fiscal 24 grant. Item 3, consideration of a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign all documents necessary to apply for and receive the Fiscal 24 Tennessee Highway Safety Office Coordinator Grant for participation in their Law Enforcement Liaison Program. Item 4, consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a signature authority form allowing the chief of police or his designee to complete grant reports as required by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office Fiscal 24 Coordinator Grant. Item 5 we'll come back to, and item 6 is consideration to approve the application to transfer the vision vendor from HM Life to MLIC Life Insurance. This is our city vision policy.
Okay, board, we will consider, per the city manager's request, item 5 separately. What I'm asking you now, are there any other items that you wish to have pulled and discussed separately? If not, is there a motion to approve items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6?
I make a motion that we approve items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 as presented on the consent agenda.
Thank you. So moved by the vice mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Alderman. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Aye. Alderman Duncan.
Aye to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
Vice Mayor George.
I to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, therefore, items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 all passed unanimously. Mr. City Manager.
All right, item 5 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement to allow Goodwill Industries of Teneva area, Inc. to place container and city convenience centers to collect donated items. I'm going to ask Michael Thompson if he'll come to the podium along with Daryl Shearer, who works for Goodwill Teneva, to talk a little bit about this project, which I think is pretty unique for this region, very much unique for Kingsport, and ties in with some of the initiatives by our local industry. So, Michael.
Thank y'all for having us. For the city, this is a very easy, no
no-brainer in my opinion, because it's simply given the space for Goodwill to do recycling activities at our centers, and I'm going to let Daryl Shearer cover everything on their side for you. So Daryl, go ahead.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening. I'm Daryl Shearer. I'm with Goodwill Teneva. On behalf of Goodwill Teneva and Morris Baker, we'd like to thank you for this opportunity to place a bin for recycled textiles at the Civic Center. I've provided some literature for you to let you know a little bit more about us. Some of that is core values. I won't be going through all those this evening, but I thought I'd leave that with you so you could refer back to it at your convenience. We are a social enterprise, and what that means is that we put people first. But we also recognize to be able to have success on our mission side, we must be pretty good at our business, right? And that includes sustainability. And so over the course of the last 4 years that I've been at Goodwill, we've been looking at directions on how we can improve upon that, how we can become more of a circular economy instead of a linear economy. One of those ways is providing bins for the public, the communities in which we serve, to put donations that otherwise might not be donated. So what I'm talking about is your ripped, stained, missing buttons, torn shirts, pants, linens, what have you, and have a donation bin for them to go into. Does that mean we're not going to get good donations that would go to the stores? No. But what it does mean is we were providing that vehicle to be able to unload those there versus putting them in the trash and it ended up in a landfill. So we're trying to help divert that. Since we've been focused more on this circular economy, we've been able to, in 2022, we were able to recover roughly $10 million of donated goods that would have gone into the landfill otherwise. So we know that by developing partnerships with the city of Kingsport and other communities we serve, that's going to enable us to continue to support not only our mission internally, but our mission externally, and helping people have vehicles to not only donate, but provide for our environment and become more planet friendly. One of our main core values is we want to have zero waste, okay? And what that means to us is that we're going to follow the 4 R's. We're going to reduce, reuse, recycle, and repurpose. And this is what this bin allows us. This is one of the vehicles this bin allows us to do. So,
Mr. Chair, first, thank you for coming. Several years ago, I served on the board briefly, Goodwill, and so I'm reasonably familiar with Goodwill, and I think it's a great activity. We have a lot of great charities in our city, but y'all do good work. I guess my question would be that, sometimes folks get in a hurry and maybe they just leave a cardboard box sitting next to the container, or it rains, and are y'all going to be there continuously to make sure that the aesthetics here are no?
We are committed to being there every morning to ensure that those areas are clean, nice, and neat. And our bin is the way that is presentable and the way the city of Kingsport.
Now, we're seeing kind of a plain vanilla picture, but you're going to have some markings?
We're going to have some logos, and we're also going to have some pictures showing what is to be put in there. Pictures of T-shirts, ripped, pants, linens. Those are going to be on the front along with our sustainability logo. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is this going to be at all of our recycling facilities? Or just at a couple of our locations?
Well, initially, we're going to start out with the Civic Center and work from there. And as we build and get really good at making sure that it's clean and neat, then go to other recycling centers.
So right now, people just need to go to the Civic Auditorium.
That's
for
correct.
this.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I have a stack of clothes, and some of it you all might think were good enough, but I put them in there, is somebody going to review these? Or are you assuming that if I put them in there, that these go to a certain other type of recycling?
No, ma'am. We will be bringing them back to our central location and sorting them.
So you can put nice things as well as
Yes,
your
ma'am.
stained and ripped things in here, just knowing that you're going to handle the recycling and the resale. So I can just one stop.
Absolutely, one stop. We prefer you take the good stuff to the store, and you can take it all to the store, okay? But you can put it there as well.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm not confusing, but I mean.
The rib stuff can be converted into rags that are used in this industry.
So, we've got a number of recyclers, some are chemical, some are mechanical. They call the ripped rag shoddy type recyclables. They can even use those for windshield wipers. So we have partnerships that allow for us to recycle or repurpose those items and give it a second life.
But you would prefer that, like, the things that I normally give to Goodwill, I still take to the store and drop off like normal. The things that I would normally put in my trash because, they don't need to go to anybody. Those are the items, those clothing or blankets or towels, that's what would you prefer that I put here and then we recycle?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Okay.
exactly right. I mean, the beautiful thing about this is it's new, but we're providing that vehicle for folks to put that in there and divert it from the landfill. And hopefully with the information on the bin, that'll help. And we'll have communication that goes out as well that will hopefully inform the community on what the real purpose of that is, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Shearer or comments? I'm looking down the table to see if we are ready to vote. Mr. Shearer, thank you very much. Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Not been published, Mr. Mayor, since it was pulled from the consent agenda.
Need to publish the.
Please publish.
A resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with Goodwill Industries of Tenova Area Incorporated to place collection containers at city convenience centers and authorizing the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of this resolution.
Okay, I told you, he kept us straight on this. Do I need to get a motion and a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve? Moved by, was it Tommy? Oh, Paul, okay. Alderman Montgomery moved the item. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Is there any further discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Aye. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Scholl.
Aye, the item passes 7-0. I led off tonight by saying he kept us straight on parliamentary procedure. Mr. City Manager, you're up.
So we move into the communications section, and I'll just kind of repeat a little bit of what we talked about yesterday. Always a great opportunity to spend a day talking about a lot of positive projects, a lot of positive initiatives that we have going with the city of Kingsport. That was done yesterday in our strategic planning session. I'd like to thank the staff that put a tremendous amount of time into this, members of the leadership team, management team that were also in attendance yesterday for this. We talked a lot about our current budget. We looked ahead a little bit into what fiscal 24 is going to look like. We also spent a lot of time talking about capital projects and the debt that we're going to need to structure that. When you think about the Dobbins Bennett Dome, what we're going to need for the library, in addition to the American Rescue Plan funds we have, Fire Station 2 rebuild, and then, of course, the Justice Center, which has been an ongoing conversation for the last couple of years. There's a lot of capital projects there and a lot of positive progress for the city. We also spent a lot of time talking about economic development and a lot of really critical projects we have moving forward. John Rose, Stephen Bauer kind of make up that office. As I stated yesterday, when we put that office together almost 4 years ago when I became city manager, my goal was that they got up every single day and thought about economic development. And we realized that a lot of what they do and a lot of the projects they work on may take months or possibly even years to come to fruition, but we're in there every day, chipping away, making an impact and a positive impact for our city. And I think we're beginning to see those things. We're helping bridge that gap between, the property owners, potential franchises, looking at ways to attract them to come here, and also at the same time telling our story, which is a big deal. And you heard a lot of that yesterday, and you've seen a lot of our marketing material that really talks a lot about that as well, is talking about telling our story and getting in front of folks to promote our city. We also talked a lot about the labor side of the house, which was a big issue in last year's budget. You all stepped up to the plate as a board and did some very important things for us. Biggest thing was a tax adjustment that went back into really shoring up where pay needed to be in order to attract and retain. And we saw the benefit and the success that had. So again, I thank you all for that. But I also just want to take a moment to thank you for the time that you gave us. I realize this is a volunteer role for all of you all. And I appreciate you guys giving us pretty much your day yesterday to sit and look and talk about a lot of things that are on the horizon and very positive for the city of Kingsport. I know that's not easy. Many of you all have jobs that you have or things that your wife needs for you to do at the house. And so I do recognize that, but we do appreciate it. And also will mention that while we haven't talked a lot about it here recently, a lot is moving forward with the dental clinic. I had a great meeting today. Members from UT College of Health Science flew up from Memphis, spent the day with us. We signed off on all the improvements that need to be made to the facility. We are in the process of securing the funding, which appears to be there to outfit the facility, and really appreciate the work that UT has done to kind of look for ways to close that gap. And I'll tell you, a few weeks ago, we weren't sure that was going to happen, but glad that they were able to help make that happen. Some exciting announcements coming up as we move towards the end of this month, and then obviously a groundbreaking ceremony that we'll have, or maybe a sledgehammer into the existing sheetrock. We haven't decided how we're going to do that, but that project is moving forward, and as I have said, every opportunity I get, if you're not excited about that project, please check your pulse, because it has an opportunity to be a game changer for our city and for our region. And it's great when I'm meeting with the folks from UT, they've got the exact same amount of excitement that they did on day one almost 2 years ago today. And so that's very promising, and we're excited where that's going. So, Mayor, that's all I've got.
And it was a great example of public and private entities working together.
Very, very good example. Many of what we were able to, we met at Eastman today, they've continued to be just a major player in this. They've opened a lot of doors for us, and they've been a great partner, as has Ballot and, of course, ETSU.
Thank you.
Chris, I'd just like to say that was the most interesting discussion that we had yesterday. I mean, it really got to the meat of the subject, and I appreciate it. I don't think I've ever been drilled that much, but it was good.
Good. Thank you, Tom.
Really good. Okay.
Yeah, I thought the whole session was good. Paul, let's start with you.
I too thanks staff for yesterday. Very informative session that we had. This coming Saturday night at 7 o'clock, Hope will be celebrating 15 years of existence. And there's over 300 youth have gone through that program. So I encourage you to come out 7 o'clock on Saturday night for that event. I also want to say shout out to the DB basketball team for making the state playoffs again this year. They did a great job, had a lot of adversity getting there, and they overcame a lot to get there, including the dome and all the things that are associated with that. This month, March, is National Women's Month, and we appreciate all the contributions women have made to our country and making things a lot better. In keeping with that, Miss Johnny Mae Swaggerty has been recognized. She's one of 4 finalists for a Remarkable Woman Award. They'll be awarded soon, and she, out of 122, she's the final 4. So that's very, very good achievement that was made there. And sir, that's it.
Okay. Mary and I attended the Hope Open House, and that's a great new area she's got, she's in now. Daryl, you and Sharon were there too. Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you, Paul. James?
Well, I would like to formally vote for the sledgehammer and the sheetrock option, if that's a possibility.
We're giving Tommy the sledgehammer.
We dig enough dirt, let's knock some walls down. I'll just echo what Paul and Chris said. I thought yesterday was, I love those meetings that we have. I think they're very informative. gets us up to date on everything that's going on, because, I mean, it's just sometimes your head can spin in this position. So just having a session to kind of break it all down was good. And I think I heard a lot of interesting things, but maybe the most important or interesting was Tyra sharing that we got hiring. We were in the mid-60s of employees we needed, down to 30s.
Yeah, from year to year.
Yeah, so from year to year, so we've cut that in half, and I think that, with the advice of the city staff, we've made some good moves to help that out, and I know that other cities are still really feeling that, so, we're not there yet, but we're a lot closer than we were a year ago. So, that, and then, my Hurricanes made the Sweet 16 for the 5th time ever.
Men and women.
And men and women, both teams beat Indiana to advance, so very neat. So the only way Miami and Tennessee can meet is in the championship. So if that happens, I say we cancel schools and meetings, close City Hall for the day, and we all go down to Houston and watch. That's it.
That's it, okay. Thank you, Tommy.
Well, I have very, very little. I'd just like to say that I've been following Alderman's been at baseball, and they've started out a little rough. But we need to get some more people out to watch the games and stuff. So, Ryan made a comment, Wagner, the head coach, said that they're on track to have a good season. And he wasn't too upset about them losing, except I was, because I can't stand for Science Hill to win anything.
Yeah. He and Coach Poore have a similar strategy. He tries to get some really good teams to play early in the season to kind of, build them up.
Yeah, I know that.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daryl?
I just got a couple of things too. Like everybody else, I really appreciate yesterday the staff and the city manager for a planning session we had yesterday. I thought that went very well, and it showed a lot of opportunities that we have, and for our economic development of the city. A lot of it is just right down in the core, which is very exciting. But it also shows the challenges that we have too. So there's challenges involved. So with opportunities come challenges. Farmers Market opens the 29th of April. So if anybody needs a booth or some information on that, you can go to the website. And so that's an award-winning website too. So we was talking about that earlier, but for the Christmas. But so and Christy was here. You can get a hold of her, I guess. We had the wrestling team here. This past weekend, we had 440 wrestlers through Visit Kingsport. So if you haven't been to one of those, you need to go sometime. It is very interesting because some of those kids are no bigger than this and rough as a cop. So it's interesting to watch. They'll have
And they can whip all of us.
And their parents are throwing them back in there. It's just a different atmosphere, so it's kind of fun to watch. And then finally, somebody up here had a birthday this week. So happy birthday to the vice mayor. I think that was earlier this week. So that's all.
She and Billy Wayne both 39.
Well, I was going to say she was 30, so.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
Thank you. Miss Betsy, are you going to stand up and show everybody your shirt?
They asked me if I would promote the Goat Festival, and if I would bring a shirt and.
That's a cute shirt.
So I just told them to wear it. The Goat Festival is going to be the end of April. It stands for the greatest of all time. It's going to be to celebrate the arts. There's going to be over 30 craft and vendors on Saturday and Sunday, the 22nd and 23rd. The preview party is Friday, the 21st, from 5 to 8. And the tickets are you're going to have heavy hors d'oeuvres, a drink, access to the vendors, and music by Symphony of the Mountains. And a first look at the goat herd. We ordered 10 goats and sold them for $1,500.
Ceramic goats.
Ceramic goats, yes.
Yeah.
And so different people are painting them and they're going to display all different places around town through the summer. But that will be the first opportunity to view the goats, the ceramic goats. And I think around Fun Fest, they're going to auction off the goats. So you could either keep your goat and put it in front of your business, or you can some people are donating their goats back to be auctioned off, so you can, if you have a favorite goat, you can try to buy it and put it in front of your house. They're going to it's going to be celebrating the arts. They're going to have a mural demonstration by DBXL. They're having a plein air event. I have no idea what that is. And they're also having the tiny art throwdown sculpture competition. So there's going to be a lot of things going on around the downtown and farmers market. So the preview party on the 21st, and the event's going to be on the 22nd and 23rd at farmers market. If you want to get a shirt, you can go to Engage Kingsport or Cultural Arts. I asked Christy if they were on sale yet, because I think they just came in, and she said, sure, if people want to buy them, you can go up to the Cultural Arts at the Renaissance Center and buy one, or the Engage Kingsport. And this is a collaboration with Create Appalachia, Inventor Center, Kingsport Art Guild, and Downtown Kingsport Association. So we've been meeting on this for several months, so we're excited that it's happening next month. And who thought when we bought goats to Seaman Hill that we would turn into a goat festival? And Chrissy's trying to get goat yoga at the farmers market, so we're going to have a lot of goat things going on. That the preview is on the 21st from 5 to 8. Friday the 21st. Oh, is it brouhaha?
Yeah, same night.
I wonder if they knew that.
Would they like to get the goats to have a little?
Yeah.
Too?
Will there be a voting on if Jordan or LeBron?
Is the greatest of all times?
Brady. Betsy, if you're bored in Kingsport, you're not paying attention, right?
Exactly.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I noticed the poster, it looks like it has a Christmas wreath around the goat. So-
I agreed with that. I've seen it.
It seems like you're blending the.
Well, they won an award for eating Christmas trees, so maybe that's,
There you go. Yeah,
but you'll see these around town too, so.
yeah. I want to thank the city for the opportunity of allowing us to go to TML. We got some really good information, and I appreciate, you talk about us giving our time up for our wonderful meeting yesterday, but, Daryl gives additional time up to go be on that board, and a lot of the legislation that they're looking at a state level really affects how we do business here in Kingsport, not only in our pocketbook, but also how we operate our city. And I think it's very important that we have someone like Daryl that goes and finds out about a lot of the bills, because a lot of it happens so quickly that it's good to have actual information on the things that are important to this community. And, I think we all realize the importance of local control and local decisions on a lot of things that they're voting on right now. And, the sales tax is obviously very important to our pocketbooks, and to be able to do the things as a city we need to do. And when you look at what we went through yesterday on what inflation is doing to our cost, and you look at some of where the state is at, and us not receiving back all of our sales tax that we generate here, and some of the single cap items, as well as some of the changes that they're looking at to make it a state level on how we run some of our operations here. I'm grateful that we have people paying attention to that, and we get the opportunity to go down there and at least voice our opinion. I think it is very important to people that we hear from local people here. It's very important to our state reps that they also hear from the people that they represent on what is important in this area. And so I hope that we continue to have citizen input to us, and that citizens also input to our state reps, and talk about what is really important, because I think we're so fortunate to have what we do, but we do, as we heard yesterday, we have a lot of things coming up with the capital projects, what inflation has done, that we need to really watch our dollars. And anything that we can keep locally, that we generate locally, is wonderful. So I do appreciate that we do go to these meetings, that we do hear from our state reps, and the governor came in and talked, and I appreciate some of what they're looking at, but it also, we have to keep track of it, and Daryl, I do appreciate that you go down and do all the extra days and bring it back to us, because it does make a difference. And said, yes, we do it here, but, every level is important. So, and I do want to really thank the leadership team yesterday. I mean, we had an agenda, and I don't know how they timed everything, but I mean, we followed that agenda.
They did it just
I mean,
right. Yeah.
I don't know what incentive or lack of incentive you put, but I mean, it was just like right on schedule. And, I don't know how many trees we killed, which is not going green, but I know I've got this many presentations and great information, and we've got a lot of decisions, and I know you'll be giving us lots more information. But thank you for that. Thank the leadership team for their efforts in that, and it's a lot of good stuff. That's it.
Thank you. Can you bring my picture up there? Okay, Chief, can you see that picture? I can. I don't know how many of y'all are aware of this. There's a citizens group. It was started by Miss Mary Cowden, and Mary's 79 years old, and Chief, I think she's adopted everybody from you on down in the department to the newest patrolman. She has. And they do great things for the police. They bring them snacks and all that. Police get involved in some kind of situation. It's common to miss meals during their shift. So, but if they can take a few snacks with them, when they report in, that's just a great boost. But also thank not only Mary and all her volunteers that have been trying to promote our police department, also Lamar Advertising. They provide this free, is my understanding. So I appreciate that, and you'll never hear anybody on this panel say crazy things like defund the police. We're all for you guys. And having said that, I'm all for our fire department too. 2 weeks ago, Chief Boyd invited us to your award ceremony and so forth, and I was very impressed. You had some pretty heroic guys over the last 2 or 3 years in some dangerous situations in your department, so we appreciate what y'all do. I add my thanks to the city manager, like my colleagues have expressed. The planning session was good, well organized, good topics, good information. We need to keep doing that because it gives the board a good grasp of the big picture. Let me see what else I got here. Finally, I would say that I appreciate my colleagues' support on this Hub vote. I'm a member of the Hub Board of Directors, and I'm a member of the Networks Board of Directors. And I simply see that there's great possibility to work together to do good things for our area and economic development, and let's keep working out a way to do that. Without further ado, we're at the part of our proceedings where citizens may come forward to the podium and speak on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Are there any citizens who wish to come forward and speak to the board on an item of civic interest? I'm looking at our Times News reporter. Thank you for that article today that give people a flavor of what our strategic planning session was about, and I hope you got some more articles to kind of expound on it. Thank you. So if no one is ready to come forward to the board, we adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information, visit kingsporttn.gov.